Five Nights at Freddy's had a very big fan base. Some of it's toxic, some of it's great. But there was one moment where they kind of went too far. Some fans found numbers in the HTML code that were related to the franchise's lore, and put it on Google Maps, and found a location of a pizzeria that matched that same code. That pizzeria got tons of calls from fans thinking the pizzeria was actually connected with the games. This was because the Five Nights at Freddy games had a very ambiguous storyline. Scott Cawthon, the original creator, told them to stop, and I think news got around that no, the pizzeria was nowhere connected and it was all just a big coincidence. Now I'm pretty sure the pizzeria itself got a big boom of customers afterwards, but everyone outside the fandom, and within it, won't let the Five Nights at Freddy fandom live that down. But I barely hear about a similar thing that happened in the Metal Gear Solid fandom. It's 2015, and one of the biggest games coming out at the time was Metal Gear Solid 5 by Hideo Kojima. The Metal Gear series had been known for wacky storylines, deceptive trailers, and many fan series upon release. Some of them include the idea that Big Boss in the game is actually another character entirely, or that the character Chico grows up and has a sex change as the main female character Quiet, or the possibility of a replaced voice actor, David Hayter, not actually being replaced and might play a role in the game somehow, and many more. The series also had a reputation of misleading trailers, the biggest having Solid Snake as the main character from Metal Gear Solid 2. The game was even teased as a totally different game, which was all just a ruse by Mr. Kojima. He later repeated that same surprise later with PT, which teased the new Silent Hill game he was involved in. The game's hype was huge. Kojima is one of the more beloved Japanese developers, who puts a lot of attention to detail in his games. He was also the pioneer of storylines and long cutscenes in video games. And this new Metal Gear Solid 5 game was said to be more darker and taboo, believed to be in the lines of Berserk. With some gamers feeling fatigued with the new direction video games were going, Metal Gear Solid 5 felt like a breath of fresh air. Well, when they aren't talking about the $30 demo. And there was a lot of speculation surrounding the game, and it was fun. However, the speculation got to very odd territory. Well, okay, maybe odd's a bit of an understatement. More odder than usual. And that was a time when the fans speculated the game was related to a real controversial experiment.
Please try to relax. There is plenty of time. I need to tell you something.
Dr. Sergio Canavero is a scientist who's experimenting with the idea of head transplants, as in decapitating a live head to a dead man's body, while connecting the nerve ends to the head and the body itself. He has been somewhat successful at doing this to animals, by damaging their spinal cords and repairing them again. It's pretty disturbing, so of course they plan on doing that to a human. But it seems that within the sphere of the scientific world, his stuff is seen as controversial. Many fellow scientists think that the procedure is dangerous, with many of the theories being faulty. But it is shown that he has some support by other doctors who specialize in transplants. Dr. Canavero also looks a lot like the Doctor in the Metal Gear Solid 5 trailer, and it's believed that he and Kojima were working together as a way to promote the game. The most obvious reason is the possible use of the Doctor's likeness. Even a 3D rendering of his image did not help. Many people looked at his work and thought there was a connection. The procedure was called Heaven. Could he be talking about the concept of Outer Heaven from the Metal Gear Solid franchise?
Outer Heaven.
The subject of this experiment also had experience of working in the video game industry. And apparently, a Cyprus video game company, Wargaming, is also a sponsor. He also did a TEDx talk in Limassol, which is located in Cyprus, just like in the game. The TEDx talk also has a V similar to the font like in the video game title. Then there's talks about phantom limbs. Could this actually be about Metal Gear Solid?
It's worth pointing out that phantom pain is a real term. The amputee seen in the trailer would likely be having phantom pain where he once had a hand.
Nah, it's about video games. There's also that time he holds up 9 fingers.
I'm afraid it's been 9 years.
Now, I did brought up that some people thought that Big Boss wasn't actually Big Boss. And some were saying that whatever it was, maybe it had something to do with head transplants. After all, the game has some taboos in the story, maybe this could be one of them. Then there's talk about Gemini, which also had the same names of those twins that died very quickly in Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. I don't even think their names were even said in the game, but okay, I guess Revengeance is canon now. Also though, Kojima made a tweet about Gemini in capital letters, so maybe there's something to it, I don't know. Then there's the fact that Dr. Canavero didn't start his Heaven research until 2013, which was the same time the Phantom Pain was revealed. So it must be legit. This entire book was all made up to promote a new video game on the next-gen consoles and PC. And Kojima used so much free time, money, and resources. No wonder Kojima was fired from Konami. He could have used that money for Zone of Endor 3. So after a while, there were some people who were skeptical on this, and some people thought it was more in line to what Kojima had done in the past. It was reported by a lot of sites, and major YouTubers, like Young Year. Dr. Canavero actually did find out about this theory, and he was not happy about it. He knew very little about video games, and saw Konami actually film them in one of his speeches, and use that footage for the game. That's not how motion capturing works. He even went so far to take legal action on Konami regarding the game, and was very gleeful on how much money he would receive. So this theory almost got Konami and Kojima freaking sued. You'd think this would be made by trolls from 4chan. After all, they're known for their pranks and their love for the Metal Gear Solid series. But it wasn't 4chan, but Neogaf, which is odd considering they'll hate the game anyways for being sexist or something. The Cypher's Dr. Evangelos Konstantinos was actually modeled after actor Ian Moore, who was involved in the motion capturing. So this all looks like a big coincidence, and a very strange one too. But during the hype, everything about this game is ambiguous. Could this be a publicity stunt? I guess we'll find out when the game's released. And the game came out. Metal Gear Solid 5 had mixed reactions, but the gameplay was alright. The Doctor character was killed off very early on. The big boss you play was not actually Big Boss, but it had nothing to do with head transplants. The game wasn't even all that dark. It was pretty silly if anything, which was odd because Ground Zero had a very dark tone. Also, it suffered from a lot of production issues where there would be a lot of cut content, like a breath of fresh air. Quiet wasn't Chico, but Chico was going to be in the game, but was cut. And sadly, David Hayter was nowhere in the game. Konami cancelled Silent Hills, because fuck nice things. As for the lawsuit, nothing actually happened, and it seems pretty clear that the actor just looks exactly like the Doctor. So just like the Lindsay Lohan situation with Grand Theft Auto 5, there's no way it would hold up in court. However, the research is still going on, but I have heard that the subject decided to leave the project. Also, the admin for Neogaf got Me Too'd, and the site was replaced by Resetera. Although I didn't like the game at first, I gave it another go a few months ago, and I did like there were multiple ways to complete the missions. More like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Kojima is making a whole new game, known as Death Stranding. There's not a lot of crazy series going around, mostly because no one even knows what the game's even about. There are some people who think that it might be an actual Metal Gear Solid title, or something along those lines. Though I think due to legal reasons, that can't happen. But the idea of being somewhat canon to the Metal Gear Solid story is pretty practical, like a different story within the same lore. Fan series have been taking a different turn on social media recently. Now everyone is making series on the latest movie, games, TV show, but I think we should probably watch out when these series enter into outside territory like this, and the pizzeria from Five Nights at Freddy's.